Good morning, everyone. It's January the 2nd, 2025. Happy New Year, everyone. I hope everyone's well. So I'm going to start with that. And the next video I'm putting up right now is to go with the other video that I just posted before this video. And that is every end of the year, we have a report coming in from our city mayor as to how the things went over the last year in the city. And he's talking about the sprung structures again and how that works and some of the things that I've already told you in. As well, he's the part that I'm very interested in was something that he said, and this was about our housing problem here. And as he said, it was the federal government's responsibility because they hand the money over to the city to get these houses developed. Now, what he said was very interesting because when I make an opinion on something, like everyone else, you make your opinions on what you interpret someone else who's saying something. And it was what the mayor was saying about the housing developers. And as I've talked in the other previous videos about the weak link in the chain, or the link that's broken in the chain, it seems to be coming from the housing developers right now because the federal government has put out money to have all these houses that the city's approved to have built. They have properties. They've, of course, as the federal government has freed up federal government and government properties that we as taxpayers actually own to build this housing. So what is the holdup here with the developers at this point? And this is one of the things, and it was explained a little bit because people with their misinformation too, that does not help it because everybody's all over the place with it. So he's trying to box it in and give us a more intricate idea of what's happening here. And and all the approvals and everything are to build this housing. So what's stopping this? I know at one point, well, we don't have enough trade workers. Well, that should be something that they should have thought about a long time ago, because I can certainly talk about the trade. And I'm going to, because this is a really big problem. We saw this happening years ago because my husband, second husband, was in the trades, and that was very handy around the house. And he had he did auto body work in the trades, so he knew how to repair a car and do body work on the car. He worked on the engine on the car because he understood that, because he had the workshop for the engines. He's done gyprocking. He's done all sorts of things, so he was really good. And then it seemed like our three boys had the ability much better than going in the mainstream. They went through the trade school as well. And in the 90s, this was a really rough thing because all of a sudden the government comes in, this new government, decides, oh, we don't need the trade schools anymore. We're going to shut them down. Excuse me. And we're all looking. And of course, I'm on the parent advisory committee at the high school where they're doing their trades. And we had to fight with the school board just to keep the school open. And this is another thing I wanted to say is it was interesting because I know one of my sons went out into construction work and stuff like that. He worked on the construction sites, and he had to actually pass what they called a WMIS exam, and I think that had something to do with the safety on the job sites and stuff. So they had to go through that too. And then what I'm finding now is that when one of my sons, my youngest son, when he graduated and he had a certificate for stick welding. So he went around the city here and he had his whole portfolio all done up. He was so happy. He thought, I'm going to get a job. Like right out of high school, he was going to get a job. And he got refused constantly because they didn't want a stick welder. They wanted a mega welder. Now, I don't know the difference between stick welding and mega welding, but they were all the jobs around here were looking for MIG welders. Well, excuse me, what is wrong with the school? I mean, they were training him in stick welding, thinking he was going to get a job out there instead of this MIG welding that he needed. Well, there was definitely a gap there. And then my husband and I are thinking at the time, well, what is the matter with them? I mean, it shouldn't be that difficult where these big construction companies could fork out some dollars to get someone who was already trained as a stick welder to be trained as a megger welder. I'm sure that could be done, but he never made it. Today he's on ODSP. He never made it because of that. And he tried hard. He tried to get the academic part. He was going to the adult high school, and he couldn't make it. But as a tradesperson, he would have made it. My other older son, he went in, he worked for a car dealership. He was changing oil on the cars that came in. So he was working in that field. And then he worked for a while in retail a little bit, stocking shelves, whatever he could do. So I mean, but he's always been able to keep part-time jobs. At least the older two have been. But this poor kid, he just got left behind, literally. When he could have been retrained, I'm sure, as a MIG welder, if somebody had cared enough to do the job that they should have done and stop. And now today we're complaining about it. I'm telling these developers to stop belly aching and do what you need to do, or start up mentorship programs with these trades that are in place, so that these students can actually get on a work site with someone who's trained in MIG welding and help them along. Not only put it in the schools, but get them the experience that they need, because that was another thing. You don't have any experience. Not only was he not only a stick welder, he didn't have experience. They were looking for experience. Well, how do you get experience? Well, make some kind of a deal with the schools to get them on the work job sites so that we have them. So that's what I have to say about that. And it could have been done so much differently. And the schools need to be updated. But this is what happens in the education system. You get a new education minister come in and, oh, this isn't good. We're going to do it better. They always promise they're going to do it better, and usually it ends up worse than better. But this is one of the things that they should have seen a long time ago coming. Why do we have this shortage? So is it workers? And even get kids interested. This is cute. I want to talk about this because being in social housing, we have our community houses as well. And over the summer, it was really cute because they took the young people. It wasn't the community center was where we get our food bank, and they do all kinds of things with the kids. But it wasn't an arbor they were trying to build. It was something called with a P, but it was just a plain wooden structure so that they could put a tarp over it and do whatever they wanted, but they'd be in some shade, and they'd be if it was raining, they could duck under there, type of thing. And what they did was they invited the kids in from the project itself, and they were thrilled because they were able to help build this arbor, or what I call it an arbor, but I know it's not that right word. But they had the chains, they had saws, they had hammers, they had nails. They were starting to cut the wood. They were seeing how something was built. And the kids were suddenly, gee, I might like to go into the trades, because they found it interesting. So it's what we have to do to interest the kids, to get our buildings built, and not everybody going into the tech section of things thinking they're going to make a fortune here, because there's only one problem. If we have to have our technology, who's going to build the buildings to build the buildings so that we can put the technology in the first place? So we can put workers in the buildings that have been built for the technology by workers. So it is a very interesting dilemma. But I just wanted to say something today and wish everyone a Happy New Year. And hopefully, like I said, I'm looking for where the weak links in the chain are, as well as what's broken in the chain and what needs to be done. And I know we don't always have enough money to do it, but sometimes it's as simple as doing a community project. If you can get kids where you're building something, even in Houses for Humanity, maybe they can get some of it, because you have people working in there. Maybe you can get some of the kids even interested in building these houses as well, so they can see and get interested in something, as a sideline, even working with the adults. So it should be very interesting. I think that would be one way of getting the kids interested. So I'm just trying to give some suggestions here as well. and I will continue to do so, because I can see a great deal that there's going to be money in the construction, definitely. And there are young construction workers out there, and we need to get our people involved. And adults can get the younger people involved if they do it the right way. So everyone, I'm going to leave it there today. Take care. Have a great day. Have a great new year. And we shall talk soon. And watch your surroundings and take care. And we'll talk again soon. Bye.